when you look at the Week 10 slate across the state, which games in particular are jumping out to you as most intriguing?
There's two. One is the game that when I asked you the similar question you brought up, and it was also on my radar, and that's Abernathy New Deal. And I don't think that. And by the way, I had our compadre Rick Renner on my show this morning.
Oh God!
So I brought up the game. Yeah, I said New Deal. So you know what was coming. Right after I said that, I said the New Deal goes, New Deal, the real deal.
Yes, that's absolutely right. It's like clockwork.
So we're going to find out how for real a deal the Lions are this week against Abernathy. That's one of the ones. The other's right here in my backyard. I mean, it's literally 2.3 miles away from my domicile, and that is the Cedar Park at Hutto. And toward that end, let's be honest, they're going different directions when we get to the playoffs. Cedar Park is going to go the D1 bracket, and Hutto's going the D2 route. So, other than district pride and all that other kind of stuff, Hutto, by the way, is gunning for its first unbeaten regular season since 1966. So that's been a while. There's that kind of stuff. There's a lot of pride and ancillary things, esoteric things out there. But a top seed in their respective divisions is not on the line. What I'm more curious to see, and I think you're in this category as well, and I have a list of a top 5 of players to watch this week, and I said number 2 and number 1, and you can either one can be number 2 and either one can be number 1, but they're the two quarterbacks for different reasons. Ryan Fiala, who had a pretty pedestrian game, but didn't make any big mistakes in the T-Wolves 21-14 win over Conley last week. Now he steps up in terms of opponent and having to step into the shoes with Matt Sexton being out, and how does he do? He says he's ready for it. I mean, there were reporters asking this week. He said, I'm ready for it. Okay, so that's one thing. And then you got the other side of the coin, and that's Chase Griffin. Is he ready for this big moment? All of my intel and my thoughts say that he is. Is he ready to be a game changer and a playmaker against a bona fide state championship level defense? Cedar Park right now, because of what happened to Max Sexton, does not have a bona fide state championship level offense, but they might not need all the way to that level to be a contender if they continue to play defense the way they do, and the Black Rain does play that way. The question is, for Hutto, can they execute against that? So that's the other game, and that matchup of those two quarterbacks is certainly on my radar.
Yeah, that one kind of falls into the same category that one of the games that I think got even more intriguing, for a bad reason this week is Argyle and Wichita Falls Hershey. Yeah. That Hershey, of course, playing fantastic with their running back Demarway Foster. They're looking very good. We saw them in person a few weeks ago and really liked what we saw. And you would think, okay, well, Argyle is a heavy favorite in this game. Well, John Copeland goes down, their outstanding quarterback, and now all of a sudden we have all these big questions about Argyle. And so those are two squads that late in the season have suffered injuries to, you can certainly argue, at least most important player on their offenses. And now that doesn't just turn their team upside down, it may turn entire brackets upside down.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. And John Copeland means so much to Argyle. And having said that, they have plenty of other offensive weapons. I went out and saw them earlier this year take apart a good Abilene Wiley team. But Copeland was the trigger man for it. Now, there were several other weapons in that. So how they respond, it is kind of in that similar vein of what you're talking about in what we were talking about with Cedar Park. Now, the difference between the two in the respective classifications and divisions is that Argyle has more offensive weapons that it can turn to for support in the absence of Copeland than Cedar Park does in its situation. So there's a difference there, but you're right. In terms of, we're talking about being able to contend and compete for a state championship. So if you're going to be able to contend and compete for a state championship, you got to have all your pieces working well together, and that's what I think Argyle is going to have to try to flesh out here over the next couple of weeks.